Hello, dear saviors. Welcome to another episode of Next Saviors Essential Question Series for NEET PG 2025, where we discuss the most likely questions which are likely to be asked, or the important questions that are almost likely to be asked in NEET PG examinations, particularly in 2025 session. All right. So here, what we are about to discuss is the question which is based on asking about the management of acute pancreatitis. This is the sort of the question which they used to ask almost every year based upon the severity. So first of all, how to identify this question means what are those key points on the basis of which you will identify that the question is asked from this topic, that is acute pancreatitis. And these are the key markers. Like if in a question there is a provision of epigastric pain which is radiating to back, if the patient is found to be alcoholic, with markers like serum amylase and lipase mentioned in the question with a higher values, and low serum calcium. So these are the likely findings which will be provided, and it will give you a hint that this question is probably asked from the topic, that is acute pancreatitis. Okay, so without wasting any time further, let's have a discussion on the question which has been asked multiple of the times. Like 45-year-old male presented to the emergency department with severe epigastric pain radiating to the back for the last 6 hours. Now, the pain is associated with nausea and multiple episodes of vomiting. He reports heavy alcohol consumption over the last 10 years and had a similar episode of pain 6 months ago, which resolved with conservative management. All right. So based on this history, you get an idea that probably he might be suffering from pancreatitis. Now, as far as other markers are concerned, like blood pressure, which is slightly on the lower side, heart rate is on the higher side, respiratory rate is on the higher side, slightly elevated temperature, the tenderness in the epigastric region with guarding, bowel sounds are sluggish, but there is no evidence of peritoneal rigidity, on the basis of which this perforation parotiditis can be ruled out. Before concluding to the answers, or before concluding the diagnosis, let's have a look on the laboratory findings also, because this is ultimately what is required for you to jump onto the conclusion. Like serum amylase level, look at this, 870, which is far above than the upper limit. Similarly, lipase levels, which are more than 3 times the upper limit. WBC count is also higher. Serum calcium is slightly low, and blood glucose is on the higher side, 190, although not that high. So all of you might have heard or read about the Ranson's criteria, because majority of the questions asked in context to this topic, that is acute pancreatitis, are constructed on the basis of the Ranson's criteria for the risk assessment. And on that basis, you might have assessed that the patient is suffering from a mild variety of acute pancreatitis. So jumping on to the question now, that what is the next best step in the management of this patient? As I told you, that majority of these questions based on the pancreatitis are now asked on the management. Now, if you look at the options, there are four options obviously are provided. Broad spectrum antibiotics to be started immediately, aggressive IV fluid and supportive care, perform ERCP, or perform laparoscopic cholecystectomy. So in order to gain the answer, let's rule out the options one by one. Now, one of the options that can easily be ruled out is that perform early ERCP. ERCP, it is indicated only in cases of suspected biliary pancreatitis with cholangitis or persistent biliary obstruction. Now here, the patient has no gallstones, as no ultrasonic or USG finding is provided. Had there been a gallstone on ultrasound, right, which is not provided in the question, then there could be a consideration of ERCP. Similarly, no jaundice is provided, no cholangitis is provided, so making ERCP unnecessary at this stage. So this option obviously is incorrect. So you have ruled out this option, and you are left with three options. Another option which seems inappropriate is to perform an emergency laparoscopic cholecystectomy. You see, cholecystectomy is indicated in gallstones induced pancreatitis, but not in case of alcohol induced pancreatitis, which is provided in the question. Now, in case of gallstone pancreatitis, cholecystectomy is performed after the resolution of the acute phase. It's not like that immediately you have to perform the cholecystectomy, because first you have to resolve the acute phase of pancreatitis. So then you have to perform the surgery, because performing surgery during acute inflammation, it increases the risk of complications. So this option can also be easily ruled out. Now what you are left with are the two options. Your struggle is in between two options. That is, one is the supportive and another one is the antibiotics. Antibiotics are not indicated in early acute unless there is evidence of infection, like I already told you. And specific indications over which the antibiotics are to be used are the fever with worsening of the clinical symptoms, then infected pancreatic necrosis, which is observed on CT guided fine needle aspiration, or the positive blood culture. So these are the specific indications where antibiotic has to be started. So to some extent, you can say that this option is also incorrect. But before marking the correct answer, let's see what the other option says. Like the option B, what does it says? So it says the supportive care in the management. The supportive care is the mainstay of the treatment in acute pancreatitis, as there is no specific cure to this disease. And what is the goal? The goal is to maintain the organ function, the goal is to prevent the complications, and the goal is to promote pancreatic healing. Okay. So for that, the first thing, obviously, the most important thing, obviously, is the IV fluid resuscitation. So why in particular this thing is required? Because pancreatitis lead to third stage fluid loss, and as a result of which there will be hypovolemia, there will be hypoperfusion, and ultimately it might result in organ failure. Because early aggressive IV fluid resuscitation within the first 24 to 48 hours, it improves the outcome. And what is the preferred fluid? The preferred fluids are ringer lactate, more than normal saline, because it has a better pH and electrolyte balance. And how will you monitor that, giving this IV fluid is actually helping the patient out? You have to maintain the urine output of more than zero point 0.5 milliliter per kg per hour for monitoring. The assessment of the IV fluid is to be done. Then another one is the management of the pain. Now, pain control is also essential. Why? Because severe epigastric pain is common and it can increase the sympathetic drive, which might result in worsening of hypoperfusion. So, how is it achieved? The first line of drugs are the intravenous opioids like fentanyl, morphine, or hydromorphine. The non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, they are usually avoided because it can worsen the renal function, and mephedrine, because of the risk of neurotoxicity, is also avoided. Then the third one is the nutrition. So pancreatitis, as you know, is a catabolic state, and early nutrition prevents worsening of the inflammation and infections. So in case of mild pancreatitis, the patient has to be kept nil per oral, and then after some duration of time, low fat oral diet can be given once the pain improves. But for moderate to severe pancreatitis, the early enteral feeding by nasogastric tube is preferred over total parenteral nutrition. Then apart from this, there is a management of the electrolyte and the glucose balance. Pancreatitis, as you know, it causes metabolic disturbances like hypocalcemia, hypokalemia, and hyperglycemia. So you have to correct the calcium. If it is symptomatically low, that is less than 7.5 milligram per deciliter, monitor magnesium and potassium, replace if it is required, and a very tight glucose control is required, because the goal is to keep the glucose level in between 140 to 180 milligram per deciliter. Then after that, the oxygen and the respiratory support. You know why? Because severe cases can develop acute respiratory distress syndrome because of inflammation. And then the antibiotics, as we have already talked about, that there are specific indications where antibiotics are to be used theoretically, but practically antibiotics are given majority of the times. And if at all antibiotics are decided to be given, then carbapenems are the antibiotics of choice in this particular case, like meropenem, imipenem. Metronidazole or fluoroquinolones are also considered to be an alternative. And finally, the monitoring. Monitoring, because you have to shift the patient to ICU, like early detection of the complications like shock, necrosis, multi-organ failure. So vital sign monitoring is extremely important. A worsening of the severity based on the Ranson's criteria, and ICU admission, if means what are the indications for the ICU admissions? Like if there is a organ failure, the most important indication is organ failure, and apart from this, hemodynamic instability, severe respiratory or renal failure. So these are the indications for the ICU. So this is basically the supportive measure. Now, if you go back to the question, then the best possible answer is start aggressive IV fluid resuscitation and this supportive care. And there is so much that has to be discussed in the supportive care. This question was designed as a prototype where we actually wanted you to learn about the supportive care of the patient who is suffering probably from acute pancreatitis. As far as one more important thing that every NEET PG aspirant must be remembering is the Ranson criteria for predicting severity in acute pancreatitis. And all of you know that it is used to predict the severity and prognosis of acute pancreatitis, which consists of 11 parameters divided into two phases, one at the time of admission and the other one within 48 hours. And higher the Ranson score, then higher the mortality, higher the possibility of complications. And these are the things that you have to remember. All right. So this is the table that you have to learn by heart because majority of the questions are asked by keeping this table in mind. Thank you very much for listening. Keep yourself updated. We are on Telegram so that you don't miss any content. Join the group Telegram. The link and the barcode is shared.